There's bad crime numbers. You hear bad news coming out of Mexico City all the time. You don't hear anything good about Mexico City.
Right.
I mean, good afternoon, amigos, from
the beautiful neighborhood of San Angel, Mexico City.
I forgot just how nice and fancy, beautiful San Angel is.
Yes.
We need to come here more often. A few housekeeping things. This morning, I thought it would be a good idea to run just shy of a marathon, 24 something miles, about 40 kilometers maybe. So the only reason that is important to you is because
you should see the way he walks.
Don't have my normal energy, which is nothing like Weta's energy. I'm walking pretty funny, and I am in training for a race that we will talk to you about later, but I just wanted to build some anticipation.
I'm in training to be biggest cheerleader.
And in this race, running 24 point something miles is nowhere close to the finish. We'll just tell you that.
Now, before we continue walking around in San Angel, we had a few random thoughts. No surprise there. And we thought we'd run some of them by you guys. We encourage all sorts of feedback, negative, positive, questions, answers to our questions.
Yes.
Is that everything?
I think so.
Now, you guys have come along with us for, well, every day for almost 2 years now on our journeys, and you know that we've explored a lot of Mexico. We still have a ton left, probably more to explore left that we haven't seen yet, but we do have the chance to travel a lot since it's what we do for a living. And our thought sort of started about a month ago, I would say, when we were in Coyoacan, talking about how the fear of the unknown sometimes gets the better of us. And I feel like that lecture on our soapbox sort of was more geared around do it, don't wait for the perfect opportunity. But I think it's interesting because Greg and I were sitting outside trying to find a star in the sky with 20 million people here, thinking about how crazy it is that we now live in Mexico City. And if you would have told us that even just a few years ago, we would have thought we were crazy.
We may have had a little wine.
A little. Anyways, we were trying to rationalize that it would be as if some of our friends said, I'm moving to Bangkok, or I'm moving to Shanghai, or any other insert big city here. And I think
there's only Chinese cities that we
not any big city. I think our first instinct is a fear-based thought.
Fear, or just like, whoa, how are you gonna do it? What is it like? Do you speak the language?
Shock, but then it turns into, I feel like safety is for sure up there, and with a city of 20 million, there's no way it can be safe. So I know that if we have these thoughts about other parts of the world, I feel like we had this about parts of Mexico.
Yeah, and people definitely have these thoughts about Mexico City, people that have traveled Mexico, people that have lived in Mexico, people that have lived in Mexico City, and kind of the thought we had is that people that have moved to Mexico but live in more quote-unquote expat-friendly cities, if you will, Mérida, Vallarta, San Miguel de Allende, I mean,
area,
those type of areas, I think, like those people, obviously, and I hope you're watching, and then hopefully this is, we can keep this respectable, and let us know actually what you think about this.
Yeah.
And that, like, you've made the jump. These people have made the jump to move to Mexico. They're the crazy ones who didn't listen to their friends when they said, Mexico is dangerous.
Right.
Like, you can't go down there. What are you doing? They've made that jump, but I still think among a lot of people, there's this fear about Mexico City.
Mexico City in particular, I think, just because it is a huge city.
Exactly, and this wine-induced stargazing night really just, we found it ironic that so many people are afraid of Mexico City when throughout our whole time in Mexico City, which we've lived in probably almost as much as we lived in Vallarta, so about a year, like off and on at different times, like we've never run into like a bad neighborhood on accident. Like we've never like run across something like that we shouldn't have seen, we didn't want to see, or an area where it's like, we better turn around, like.
Right.
And we explore quite a bit. We just take off walking. But those things, unfortunately, and not to knock any of those other cities, because I think obviously we know and think Mexico is safe and beautiful, but in Vallarta, we've accidentally run into probably not the best place to walk through filming. Right. San Miguel de Allende, we've done the same thing.
Same in Ajijic. And it might be coincidence, but I think the overall idea is that, and I feel like I want to challenge any and all expats or Mexicans who live in pueblitos or Mexicans who live in Vallarta and who have never been to Mexico City to see it with your own eyes. Don't take our biased opinions. Don't take the biased opinions of anyone, but use your own eyes to see the city. I think can go a really long way in sort of broadening your horizon and seeing sort of the same idea that everyone feels about Mexico. Not everyone. A lot of people feel about Mexico in general is that anything south of the border, it must be dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, and closing thoughts on this random rant is that we feel, I mean, we are Chilangos. You all know we love Mexico City, and like our love for Mexico City is so similar. It's like intertwined with our love of Mexico, and I think Mexico City a lot of times gets treated the same as Mexico as a whole by both Mexicans, Mexican Americans, and gringos, people from all over the world. There's bad crime numbers. You hear bad news coming out of Mexico City all the time. You don't hear anything good about Mexico City. Right. I mean, you do.
And us Chilangos got to stick up for our hood, know what I mean?
and I just think the same way we want to share the beauty of Mexico to the world, we want to do the same with Mexico City in telling you that whether you live in Vallarta and for whatever reason you're afraid to come to Mexico City, or
we were. This was us.
This was us.
We are definitely by no means above this. No. I hope that
we've just been we've been through this route.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, so we encourage you, if you've broken that mold and you've come to Mexico, just take it one step further. Come visit Mexico City. You're not going to walk around Condesa, Roma, Centro, Coyoacan, San Angel, Del Valle, Navarte, and like really have any troubles at all. You're going to fall in love with the people and the food in the city, and we encourage you to.
Our fellow Chilangos, spread some love in the comments. Let these people know we're not crazy.
All right, that was our random wine-induced thought. We did not drink wine before this rant, believe it or not. This was run-induced craziness. Now back to some random adventures in San Angel.
Let's do it.
One of the defining characteristics of San Angel is all of the art and artists. More specifically, usually it's on Saturday. Saturdays they have kind of an art in the park kind of thing. Today's actually Sunday, so we did not expect to see this art today. So it's a beautiful, yeah, it is packed. Nice Sunday surprise. We tried to come yesterday, and one of the consequences of renting an apartment and attempting to show just normal daily life is that it's Telmex. It's Telmex. We are getting internet because, well, we work online, and Telmex said they were going to show up sometime yesterday. No idea what time, no window.
It comes as a huge surprise to all of you.
It wasn't like 9 to 6 or
they never came.
9 to midnight. They just never told us an hour. They never came. We called. They never answered. Never emailed. But it's a beautiful Sunday.
Still don't have internet.
In which we still don't have internet. But that's okay because we don't have internet. We just need to explore this beautiful, nice, fancy city of San Angel. Area, colonia of San Angel.
Barrio.
Normally I'm the cameraman and Hillary's the star. Today Hillary's the star and the cameraman. I feel really self-conscious of these walking shots she's getting me though.
Right?
It's like, does my butt look big? Am I walking funny?
Yes and
yes. But all jokes aside, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. San Angel, I don't think San Angel in and of itself is underrated, but I do think it is an underrated aspect or colonia of the city.
Yeah. I don't think it's in like when you think of the most popular or most well-known neighborhoods. I feel like it might make the top 10, but I don't feel like it's maybe one of the top 5, so to speak.
Right. And I don't know, maybe it is. Let us know. I'm sure you're yelling at us in the comments, which is good. We want your feedback. And we're to blame too. Our family came here, my mom came here, and we didn't come to San Angel. We went to Coyoacan, and now I'm thinking we should have done both at least. Like, both are very similar, South Side vibes, but so different, and especially on the weekends, all the arts and crafts and tianguis are so cool. And tianguis are something that are so uniquely Mexican that you just have to come to San Angel to see them. We are outside Mercado San Angel. I'm assuming that's the name of it. We're outside a market in San Angel. It has this really awesome like tile and stone mural.
It's like mosaic.
Inside. We've never been over to this area. We might make a return trip over here. Today is not a market video. I just wanted to comment on like art in Mexico City is everywhere. That's really an amazing aspect of the city, and you can see it even in places like the market, which is, I don't know, it's pretty remarkable.
What? Okay.
We're lost again, like always.